Good morning. This is Chair French, and I'm convening the KCC's regularly scheduled business meeting for April 13th, 2021 at 10 a.m., joined by my colleagues, Commissioner Keene and Commissioner Duffy. On today's agenda, we have 23 consent items and 2 noticed items. So we'll move first to our consent agenda, and I will ask my commissioners if they have any questions on the consent agenda items, starting with Commissioner Duffy. Do you have any questions? And you are on mute.
Sorry about that. I do not have any questions.
Thank you. Commissioner Keene, do you have any questions on the consent agenda items?
A little difficulty unmuting. Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay. None, thank you for me. And I would move approval of the consent agenda.
I second Commissioner Keene's order or
We have a
motion.
motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion of that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The consent agenda is approved. We will now move to our 2 noticed items. Our first noticed item is in docket number 21, CONS 3199 CPEN. This is a proposed penalty order in that docket. And our presenter for this item is Mr. Kelsey Marsh. Kelsey.
Good morning, and thank you, commissioners. Before you is a penalty order against Prairie Gas Operating LLC for 27 violations of KAR 823-111. The order assesses a $20,000 penalty and requires Prairie Gas to plug the wells, return the wells to service, or obtain temporary abandonment status for the wells if eligible. The reason for a heightened penalty in this instance are that this operator has continually displayed disregard for the commission's rules and regulations. Prairie Gas has been penalized in 17 dockets since obtaining its license in March 2017. Further, Prairie Gas's license has been suspended in 4 of the 9 dockets where it was penalized for violations of KAR 823-111. With that, I would recommend approval of the order, and I am available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh. Do the other commissioners have any questions on this item? And I will start again with Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions. I do believe the penalty is definitely warranted based on the ongoing issues with this operator, and in particular, this issue, which has, as all of them do, it's just not on paper. This has to do with environmental issues as well, a potential violation that would affect our environment. So I'm very supportive of the amount that is issued in this order.
Thank you. Commissioner Keene, do you have any questions?
No questions or comments. I would move approval of the order.
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed order in this docket. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the order, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order is approved. We now move to our second noticed item, and this is in docket number 21, CONS 3237 CPEN. And again, this is another proposed penalty order. And again, our presenter is Mr. Marsh. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Marsh.
Thank you. Before you is a penalty order against Supernova Energy, Inc. for 7 violations of KAR 823-111. The order assesses a $5,000 penalty and requires Supernova to plug the wells, return the wells to service, or obtain temporary abandonment status for the wells if eligible. The reason for a heightened penalty in this instance is that this operator has been penalized in 9 dockets since obtaining its license in March 2015. Further, Supernova's license has been suspended in 4 of the 9 dockets where it was penalized for violations of KAR 823-111. Additionally, Supernova's license is currently suspended and has been suspended for noncompliance with another KAR 823-111 docket since June of 2020. With that, I would recommend approval of the order, and I am available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh. Any questions for Kelsey? Start with Commissioner Keen this time.
None for me, thank you.
Commissioner Duffy.
None for me, and I move approval of this order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed order in this docket. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. The order is approved. Thank you, Kelsey. That brings us to the end of the noticed business on today's meeting agenda. Hearing no further business to come before us today, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. Those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.